Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to set up and safely operate a Bartell walk-behind power trawl. To set the machine up, it's pretty basic. The first thing you want to do is we've got the handle installed. When it comes in the box, it's not going to have that handle, and so you'll have to install it. That's another video. But now we have it installed, and we're ready to run the machine. First thing you want to do, though, is make sure that all your connectors, all your bolts are nice and tight. Just make sure nothing has came loose in transit that you need to tighten back down again. You want to be sure to do that. The machine does not come with oil in the engine. So it's really critical to make sure that you not only put the correct oil, 1030 in, but you put the correct amount of oil in. And how you can accomplish that is when you pull the oil cap and you put oil in there, bring it up to just right at the bottom of the threads of the oil. That's the right amount of oil that you put in that machine. You do that because if you put too little oil, the machine actually won't run. It's designed not to protect the engine. Too much oil, it's not good for the machine to use too much oil. And so you want that right amount. Also, the machine has oil in its gearbox, but that oil is shipped in the machine, so you don't have to fill that up. But you do want to check on it, and you'll notice that we have a sight glass window there, and you can look at that little window, and you can see that the level is right about in the middle of that window. That's the right amount of oil in there. And so again, it comes in the machine. You don't have to put it in there. So you want to also make sure that all the controls move freely. So you want to walk around, make sure that your throttle is moving correctly, your pitch and your switches, everything's moving freely. And then what's really important that we really encourage with all small engines like this, they're very sensitive to bad gas or just poor gas. So always use very good, nice, fresh gas when you're running this machine. And that's basically all the things that you have to do to set the power trawl up and get ready to go. But that's half of our discussion. The other half is how to operate it safely. And you know, it's interesting. I listed 5 points that I needed to cover in setting up this machine to run. I listed 12 points on how to run the machine safely. It's that important to always think about how to operate our equipment safely. First of all, on your job sites, we want to have what we call PPE, our personal protective equipment on site and use it. So that includes things like eye protection, ear protection, feet protection, hard hats, high-vis vests. You want all of those things there and using those as well. You only want well-trained operators to run the machine. So you want to keep anybody that has not been trained, anybody that doesn't know how the machine works, you need to keep them completely away from where you're running the machine. Another important thing is this machine wants to spin, and so it's important to keep a really nice hold on this machine. Always run it and be conscious of holding onto that machine and not letting go and kind of looking around. You want to always be really paying attention to what you're doing. You also want to be aware of your environment. When you're working a floor, a wet concrete floor, there could be protrusions coming up through the floor, vents, pipes, things like that. You don't want to get anywhere close to those and impact them. You'll damage the machine. You can hurt yourself as well. So really be aware of your environment. Also, what's really important with really all of our equipment is you want to make sure that you never remove any kind of protective shields or rings of any kind. And on the power trawl, it's really critical that you have a guard ring here. You could remove it, just a few bolts comes right off, but it's really dangerous to do that. So always keep those protective guards and rings in place. Also, keep your feet, keep other people's feet and hands completely away from those areas because there's rotating parts down there. You can really hurt yourself if you were to reach in and try to grab something maybe that got caught in there and hurt yourself. So never ever do that. Keep your hands and feet completely away. Also, never try to refuel the machine, never try to work on the machine, adjust the machine when it is running. Always completely stop the machine before you do that. Also, it's a gas engine. It has a very hot exhaust muffler there. So be cognizant of that to keep your hands away from that. And not just while it's running, that muffler stays hot for quite a while afterwards as well. When you run this machine, it's a gas engine. You want to make sure that you run it in a very ventilated area. Never in an enclosed space, because it will harm you. It'll harm your co-workers. Here's a couple more points, though, the last 2 or 3 points, but they're really, really important points. First of all is this. When you're starting this machine, it has a centrifugal clutch. And so the faster you go, the more that clutch takes off and wants to spin the machine. So you never, ever want to start the machine on full throttle or anything near full throttle. You always want to completely either all the way down on idle, but certainly no more than 30% throttle when you're running the machine, or it will take off on you. That's really important. I want to show you something else that is really important and a nice feature for Bartell's power trowels. I'll pull the pitch handle up so you can see it. And that's this goofy looking on-off switch. You think, oh, hey, got an on-off switch, that's real nice. That's not a goofy looking on-off switch. That is a serious safety feature of the machine. It's a centrifugal force switch. If you were to be running this machine and say you were to trip and fall or have an accident, a medical emergency or something, this machine will take off on you. All power trowels will take off on you. And they'll start turning. That handle will start turning faster and faster. Now you have a really, really dangerous situation on trying to figure out how to stop the machine. But not with the Bartell trowel, because it's got that centrifugal safety switch. It's a real heavy little switch there, knob on top. And you think about it, when this machine was to start spinning, it will throw that switch to the outside of the handle, contacting the contactors, and will stop the machine. Really a cool safety feature. Finally, after you've run the machine for quite a while, you're wearing your blades out and you have hours and hours on the machine and your blades are wore out. When you go to replace those blades, you're not replacing blades anymore. You're replacing 4 very sharp knives. Those blades become really sharp as you run them, because you're sharpening them the whole time. And so be really, really cautious of handling those blades because of how sharp they are. Well, that's basically the how to set up and safely operate a Bartell power trowel. But what I encourage you to do in the end is keep your owner's manual with you. All the information we talk about and more can easily be accessed there. If you've had this machine for a long time, you've lost it, you don't know where it's at, go to bartellglobal.com. There you can view the owner's manual online. You can also download it and print it out and then keep it with the machine. So it's really important to go there. Really encourage you to do that. So in the end, get out there, have fun, work smart, and be safe.